Former light heavyweight champion and alleged domestic abuser Jamahal Hill continues to embarrass himself time and time again in the aftermath to his UFC 300 brutal knockout loss to Alex Pereira. He put out a damn near 40-minute video breaking down his fight against Pereira, which isn't in itself is a feat. To have a 40-minute breakdown of a fight that just lasted over 3 minutes where you got brutally KO'd in the first round. But he makes delusional statement after delusional statement after delusional statement, blaming Herb Dean, acting like he was dominating the fight, acting like fans are being too harsh on him, and heavily implying that Alex Pereira is a dirty fighter. When he talks about the finishing sequence, it was some of the most delusional statements I've ever seen a UFC fighter make. So we're going to jump into it in this video. But before we even do that, I want to take a little victory lap. Because I'll make, video after video giving you guys my opinion based on the evidence, giving an educated guess or giving my take on a certain subject. And people say, Joey, you just don't like this fighter. Joey, you're just a contrarian. And every single fucking time it comes to fruition. 6-8 months ago, I was telling you guys, Jamahal Hill is unhinged. Jamahal Hill is delusional. Jamahal Hill is salty. He is threatening a media member for asking questions. Thinly veiled threats. You're only safe because I allow you to be safe. Where I come from, that constitutes an ass eaten. I mean beaten. And I made a video criticizing Jamahal Hill because everyone was like, yeah, Jamahal, get him, Jamahal. I made a video criticizing Jamahal. I said, look, he's salty, he's delusional, he's crazy, and he's being very aggressive for literally no reason to a media member. And people called me crazy. I'll just say, welcome aboard. I'm taking apologies down in the comments because it seems like that opinion is now the majority opinion. It was a contrarian opinion back then, but now it's the majority opinion. Let's jump into the clips. First clip, he says, we don't know what salty means, that he's not salty at all, even though he's still complaining about a fight from 3 months ago in which he got brutally KO'd, and there was very little controversy.
I was called on a few weeks' notice, and we were able to step up. So in doing that and making that decision to give up that belt, it has given leadway to some great things. So for me to be considered a hater or salty because of that, to me is insane, and partially makes me think people kind of don't understand the term of what salty means.
We don't know what salty means. I'll tell you what, you look up the word salty in the dictionary, it says Jamahal Hill right next to it because Jamahal Hill is the saltiest fighter on the roster. Now, before we get in the next few clips, you have to understand what this video is. And I'll link the entire video down in the description. You want to go check it out. He's watching Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson's breakdown of Pereira versus Hill at UFC 300. And he's essentially arguing with Mighty Mouse. If Mighty Mouse gives any praise to Pereira, Jamahal Hill is like debunking it live and saying, no, I was dominating, I was winning, and up until he cheated with Herb Dean, up until he cheated and he wasn't a sportsman. That's what the video is. He's watching Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson's breakdown of his fight. So you'll see that in the very next clip because the next few clips, or pretty much all the clips from here on out, is him breaking down his own fight. So just to clear it up, you can't really see it on screen because I have Jamahal Hill focused on screen. Mighty Mouse is over here in the corner watching their fight. Jamahal Hill's reacting to it. Right here is one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard. Jamahal Hill's as dumb as a box of rocks. Listen very carefully to what he says here and see if you can decipher it because it's straight up idiotic and makes no sense.
This is good because Alex is very patient and trying to get there, and Jamahal Hill is watching him, and Herb Dean is sitting there watching closely with those eyes.
No, see, I'll say right here, Alex isn't being patient. He's trying to find a way and trying to figure out how he can get in, a way to try to maybe close some distance or maybe try to change the angle. This isn't patience. This is trying to figure out, trying to calculate. This is calculating. He is calculating.
This isn't even the worst of it. He's pissed because Mighty Mouse said Pereira is being patient. And then Jamahal Hill goes to say, yeah, he's just waiting to find his opportunities and find his shots and pick his shots. And he's calculating. That is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. So basically what you're saying, Jamal, you're saying he's waiting to pick his shots so he doesn't get clipped or he doesn't make a mistake. You know how I would sum that up under one word? I would say patience. I would say patience. Not, calculating could be used as well. But I think those two would fall under the same kind of, branch of what Mighty Mouse was trying to convey there. Completely delusional. Next clip. Let's jump into the next clip. I mean, there's so many clips we got to go through here. Originally, when I took timestamps for this video of every delusional statement, I had like 20 minutes worth of footage. I then had to cut it down to about 5 minutes of footage. But this is him complaining that Mighty Mouse was saying, talking about, Pereira's foot position and Jamahal Hill's feints, and it's him crying about feints, and basically Hill saying, I was dominating this fight.
And I was shooting the inside leg kick that I'd landed every single time that I threw it. So he was biting off of a feint there. Like I said, he has a high fight IQ, but my style and the things that I do are very unique to me in the training in the way and the style that I've been brought up in. And even some of the best minds in the game still don't see or understand what they're watching.
Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson doesn't understand Jamahal Hill's game. That's what he's saying here. I told you guys. Look, you might think, I'm being hyperbolic about how delusional this video is. When I started watching this video, when someone sent it to me, this was me. This was me. When I started listening, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way he said this. He said that Mighty Mouse, Jamahal Hill's such cutting edge and he's such a new breed fighter. Mighty Mouse's brain couldn't possibly comprehend his feints. All right, let's jump ahead somewhere. I mean, it gets worse. It gets worse and worse and worse. And there's so many hilarious moments. And just look how salty he is. Look how salty he is watching the fight here.
More comfortable and more comfortable.
So Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson says Pereira's feeling more comfortable in there right now.
Jamahal
Where's the
Hill was
comfortability?
so hell-bent on trying to knock him out.
Here's the thing. Where's the comfortability? Where is he getting more and more comfortable at? Because he's just hopping around. He's only thrown a lead leg kick and he's attempting body jabs. Meanwhile, I've opened up. Now you have now seen me open up inside leg kick, outside leg kick, attempt a head kick, outside kicks to the body, teeps to the body. So who's more so opening up? The person that's measuring out, actually getting their weapons out there and getting good actual looks at him, or the guy that's just hopping around back and forth trying to figure things out? Alex.
He was getting ready to put it on him. He was getting ready to give him an ass beating. He was working him over with all his tools. Keep in mind, this fight was a little over 3 minutes long. Yeah, he wasn't comfortable. He wasn't comfortable. Look how uncomfortable he is here pressuring. Look how uncomfortable he is here pressuring. I mean, let's just carry on. I don't want this video to be 50 minutes long. I mean, it gets worse and worse. We still got a lot of clips to go through. A lot of clips to go through. And it gets worse. Wait till we get to the finishing sequence. I can't wait.
The thing about this breakdown that I don't really care for is if
you don't like that he had any praise for Pereira at all. That's it. Because you lost. He brutally chinned you on one of the biggest stages, at least one of the biggest fight cards of 2024, and you're salty about it. You lost. Get over it. Stop coping like a little pussy.
the fact that certain moments, whenever he's pausing this, he's pausing it in moments that are just like, there's no engagement here, bro. Neither one of it. If he tries to throw a right hand at me right now, I got all the room to flow back and counter.
He doesn't like where Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson is pausing the breakdown. It's not good enough for him. It's not highlighting his skills, his new breed, cutting edge skills. Oh, man. I can't believe he even posted this. He better delete this video. Imagine he deletes it while I'm making the video. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. All right, next clip. He alludes to the Herb Dean situation, which we're not going to pay too much attention to what he said about Herb Dean. We're going to kind of skim over that a little bit because I've already covered that in countless other videos. But we're going to look at the groin shot. We're going to look at the finishing sequence that he could bear to even watch. It was hard for him to even watch, and he cut it off before the taunt got there. So let's listen to him talk about a little bit about Herb Dean here.
I roll back and I flash a check hook in his face. That is the last strike. That is the last strike that Alex Pereira throws before the whole situation happens, before Herb Dean steps in, and then
he couldn't even say I got knocked out. That was the last strike I threw before the whole Herb Dean situation where I got brutally KO'd afterwards.
He lines up the shot before that was the last thing. So where's the setup been at? Where's the setup been at?
I want to rewind that real quick. because I don't know if you guys heard that because he kind of like mumbled it in there. Herb Dean set up the shot for him. Listen to this.
Strike. That is the last strike that Alex Pereira throws before the whole situation happens, before Herb Dean steps in, and then he lines up the shot before that. That was the last thing. So where's the setup been at? Where's the setup been at this entire time to where he should be, where he's been calculating and measuring all these things up? That is the last strike he throws, and it's because he is getting flustered. He doesn't see any openings for himself. And whenever he throws his last body jab, watch the check hook flash right in his face. We have a slow-mo from the UFC countdown also that
he was dominating the fight. Pereira was lost in there. He didn't know what to do. Look, I would respect Jamahal Hill more if he just said, look, the stoppage threw me off my rhythm and I got caught. I don't think that would happen in a rematch. I'd respect it. But to act like Herb Dean caused him to get KO'd and that he didn't throw a shot, which he talks about in this video, yeah. I was just checking on him. I was just checking on him, and he flustered me, and I flinched. Oh, man, I'm starting to feel pity on this guy, but I wouldn't dare insult him by feeling bad for him. Next clip. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. This is the funniest part, one of the funniest parts of this entire breakdown, because he thinks Mighty Mouse is going to agree with him that it doesn't hit the cup, because you can see Mighty Mouse is circled on the screen here, the cup, and then where the body kick landed. But then Mighty Mouse says, "Oh, it kind of touched the cup a little bit." And watch the saltiness on Jamahal Hill's face when he realizes that Mighty Mouse is not going to say that it was not a low blow, because it was. We've watched it in slow-mo. I've broken down on this channel. You'll see it in Jamahal Hill's very video, but apparently he doesn't have the brain processing power to admit it.
Said, I don't know. That looks like it was more of a kick on the upper side of the
hip
of the cup.
Okay.
He had to edit. There was like a quick edit here because he was so pissed. He was so pissed off. And by the way, it does hit the cup. I think you'll see it here in a second.
Okay. So he clearly can point. He clearly points out where the kick lands. Mighty Mouse clearly can point out that that's not a groin strike, right? Pause. I'm not gonna say all the shit that he just said or how he came to that conclusion, but But this is also another thing I noticed with the lingo of how people don't want to say the wrong thing in this, and whenever it's up against a star or anything, to set off the masses.
So basically, Mighty Mouse doesn't want to admit that it's not a groin shot because he's going to upset the masses. That's what he's saying here. I mean, delusional. And I think in this next clip is where he actually shows the groin shot, where it's a slow-mo from the UFC countdown from a better angle. And he says, look, it's clearly not a groin shot. It's to his hip. Oh, this is the knockout. Sorry. But I think it does show the slow-mo of the body kick.
Pause it.
He said, pause it. I can't watch this. I got PTSD.
Now, the thing that's interesting right there, and I'm going to be honest, like I've been told that because he doesn't speak English, you know, his translator and the translation sometimes can be misconstrued in what he's saying and things like that. But if that is truly what he said, he literally just said that the kick didn't hit him.
It didn't affect him. Yeah, because you did touch the cup, but it didn't affect him.
It wasn't a low blow for real. He signaled to the ref. He literally said, I signaled to let the ref know that he kicked me so that he can keep an eye on it. So Herb Dean, so he signals to the ref, hey, I got kicked. The ref yells, stop. I stopped completely. He then takes the angle and closes the distance in that, and then tells the ref, no, I'm good. Why'd you signal to the ref then in the first place?
He was reacting to the fact that you kicked him in the nuts, but it didn't affect him because it was just a grazing shot on the way up. And I think he shows it here. I thought I had that clip in, but maybe I deleted that clip off because I have way too many clips. But it's just crazy to me that he doesn't get this. And I've already broken it down time and time again in slow-mo. Pereira takes 0 steps during the stoppage. Jamahal Hill takes 0 steps during the stoppage.
What was the point of you for signaling to the ref in that moment if the kick didn't hit you low, you didn't want it stopped, but yet you grab low, you signal to the ref, you wanted to so the ref could see and let him know that you got kicked, but yet all of a sudden you don't want the fight to be stopped.
So Jamahal Hill's saying here, Pereira faked a nut shot so that he could get a temporary pause in action so he could close the distance even though he didn't close the distance, so that he could find a knockout shot while Jamahal Hill was dominating him for the first round. Okay, I'm not buying it, but okay. I think this next clip is actually showing the low shot. And I'll see if I can slow it down. I think this is. We're going to listen to Jamahal Hill, but I'm probably going to rewind it and put it in slow-mo for you guys. I mean, it's already in slow-mo. Right there. We'll rewind it one more time, and I'll put it in like really, really good slow-mo. Let's see. Playback speed. We'll go 0.5. Watch this. Watch this clearly graze. Let me mute this real quick because you're going to hear it kind of in slow-mo. Look, it clearly grazes the cup. Clear as day. Indefensible. It's clear as day that it touches the cup there. Again, I know I've covered this before. I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry. But this is so obvious. Let me put it even slower motion. Okay, 0.25. Okay. Watch this shot. It clearly grazes the cup. So it's already in slow-mo, and I've slowed it down even more. I've turned off the volume because it's going to sound weird. Watch this. Dude showing a video. Watch his toes and foot come across the cup of Pereira. So, of course. Okay, here we go. Look. Watch this. Okay, it's on screen. Good. Clearly grazes it. It's right near the crotch area. It's not a super impactful shot, but it clearly does touch him. And that is why he kind of had a reaction. But then he just kind of wiped it off and said, oh, I'm good, because it barely touched him, okay? It wasn't some gamesmanship, which is what Jamahal Hill here implies here shortly. Makes absolutely no sense.
Kick's not low. It's not a groin strike. It's in the hip.
So it's not low. It's a groin shot. We've already been over this. I'm not going to go over it anymore. Delusional. Then he starts breaking down here at the, people... I've broken this down before. Jamahal Hill, after the break, he didn't conveniently, I guess, left this part out, really, kind of. But during the break, he threw the first shot. After the break ended, he's the one that threw a left hand first. Pereira kind of starts loading up first, but Jamahal Hill gets off with a shot first. And this is his excuse for why he threw the first punch.
Because a lot of people were like, oh, he gave him the thumbs up. Oh, he was cool. I was asking if he was okay. I did the thumbs up. He was closing the distance on me. From that,
when the thumbs up happened, there was no steps forward. There was no real movement from Pereira in any capacity.
That thumbs up to the judge, like, yo, you okay? He doesn't speak English. I was asking him again, yo, are you okay?
So Jamahal Hill can't read the room. Pereira waved off the ref, and you guys touched gloves. You don't need to check and make, are you okay? Are you okay? Did you offer your brother that same courtesy at Thanksgiving dinner? Are you okay? You knocked his teeth out, okay? You just grazed his cup. He clearly waved off the ref. He's fine. Now, listen to the excuse for why Jamahal Hill's the first one to throw a shot.
And when I went to go touch glove, he parried my hand. If you look, when Herb Dean does the signal to continue, he does it close here and at his chest to continue the fight. I didn't see that signal.
So Jamahal Hill didn't know to fight, but he threw a left hand. So he's a dirty fighter. He's admitting, listen, I know there was a stoppage in action. I never heard to continue fighting, and I threw a left hand anyway. Dirty fighter.
At no point did you see me circle the way that I circled so flatly at that angle, giving up outside positioning. All right? Now, it's just me being honest. It's no excuses, none. I was expecting the ref to come in, separate us. All right, you guys good? You know what I mean? And you do your touch, you do your little step back, and then you get back to it. That's what I was expecting to happen.
So he was expecting to get reset, even though Pereira clearly waved off the ref and the ref backed away, and they touched gloves, and then you threw the first shot.
All right, the fact of the punch. There was the fact the punch, the strike that I threw.
Go ahead and excuse that away, Jamahal Hill. Excuse that away. What could possibly be the reason you would throw the first punch if the fight was stopped? That makes no sense.
That at the same time at the end whenever it was hit. That was a response to him being directly in my face, like while all these thoughts are going through my head. Next thing you know, oh shit, this guy's in my face. If you look when I throw the punch, my eyes are closed. That's a flinch, like a flinch reaction.
So he flinched after Alex Pereira was coming in his face, and he threw a left hand at a reaction pause. So, yeah, he thought the fight was stopped, man. He didn't think they were still fighting. You think if that left hand landed and chinned Alex Pereira, he'd be like, you know what? This wasn't a real knockout loss. I owe him a rematch. You think that would happen? You think Jamahal Hill would be on his YouTube channel saying, I owe Pereira a rematch? The fight was stopped, and I chinned him with that left hand when he was coming in my face. Pause. You think he'd be saying that? No, he would not. It keeps going on and on. He's saying he's getting persecuted for speaking his mind. Listen to this shit. And you know what's crazy? There's barely anyone calling him out for this because people like Jamahal Hill because of, you know, the people he's gone after in the past, aka media members, and people kind of like that. But luckily the fans are finally starting to come around. But I don't feel like there's enough criticism for Jamahal Hill. The way he's acting, imagine in a world this was like an Ian Machado Gary. Imagine in a world where this was like an Israel Adesanya. Imagine in a world where this was like an Islam Makhachev. You know, take your pick of names. Imagine the criticism that would be lobbied against him. Now, he's getting a fair bit of criticism now. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's anywhere in comparison to what those guys would get or some other fighters would get. It's starting to drum up now, and he's making it worse for himself, but I feel like he deserves more.
I don't understand how I get persecuted for pointing out the small things in my job, as if somebody who don't do my job knows it better than myself.
I mean, we all have eyes. We can see what happened. You kicked him in the groin, and then he knocked you out. So you committed a foul, and then apparently you thought the fight was stopped, and you threw a left hand. So they're completely dirty. And he gets into here in a second saying how essentially Pereira was a dirty fighter and Pereira didn't have sportsmanship. It was craziness. It was craziness. Listen to this shit. I think this is the next clip. I mean, I can only imagine what the comments are going to look on this video. By the way, guys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Like this video. Share this video because Jamahal Hill is delusional.
Alex, bro, you got to respect it. It was a gritty competitor. The one thing that I came in as a sportsman, as just like we doing this job and things like that with a certain level of respect and camaraderie and sportsmanship that he didn't have any intention on showing because he.
I mean, at this point, I feel so redundant. I feel so redundant right now. I came in with a level of sportsmanship that he didn't come in with. He's saying Pereira cheated to get this win. He said he did a gritty, competitive move. He got me. He won't get me next time. He won't get me next time. You know, in another video, and I covered this as well, he said, you're supposed to obey the ref's commands at all time. I might disobey next time because he cost me the fight. That's essentially what he said. I literally can't believe this. Let's listen to that one more time. Alex Pereira doesn't have any sportsmanship, according to Jamahal Hill. I mean, this guy's a clown. He hasn't shown any sportsmanship. He's been crying and crying and crying. It's 3 months later, bro. Get over it. Suck it up.
Alex, bro, you got to respect it. It was a gritty competitor. The one thing that I came in as a sportsman, as just like we doing this job and things like that with a certain level of respect and camaraderie and sportsmanship that he didn't have any intention on showing because he felt disrespected or whatever. When somebody does a gritty competitor move, you can't be mad at that. I'm not mad at him for being a gritty competitor. Granted, it sucks being on the shitty end of it, but
does anyone believe that he's not mad that he lost? I mean, he's complaining about it for 3 months. So for him to say, I'm not mad that he didn't show any sportsmanship. I'm not mad that he did a gritty competitive move, aka he cheated, aka he's a dirty fighter. I'm just pointing it out. I'm just pointing it out for the fans. They need to know I'm better. I was dominating this fight. I was dominating it. And I got screwed by old Herb Dean and Alex Pereira with those gritty competitive moves. Last clip we're going to take a look at is him alluding more to kind of like, yeah, I was dominating this fight. That's kind of what he's alluding to more here.
There's one other video. It shows all the significant strikes, every strike. I mean, all the strike attempts in that fight, just on a quick little video cut. On a little video cut. I'm gonna pull that up real quick, and you tell me how far off, how crazy I am to think that I was controlling this fight. I was doing all right.
This motherfucker pulls up a TikTok, okay? I guess somebody like edited every strike from the fight together. And he says, take a look at it. I was clearly winning. Bro, the fight was 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes. You got shinned with a left hook and then memed on. He didn't watch that. I would have loved to seen him watching that live. Oh, I would have paid good money for that one. I don't see how Jamahal Hill ever rises to the top again. Because if you can't admit fault, if you can't admit error, if you can't admit that he was the better man on that night, I don't understand how you can address anything. He got chinned by Alex Pereira, and now he's made a 40-minute video going on a diatribe saying, yeah, he was a gritty competitor. I got cheated. He's a dirty fighter. I won't let that happen again. I won't let that happen again. You know, Jamal, Alex Pereira stepped in the cage. He's a trained fighter. He's not your brother who's just going to sit there and let you knock his teeth down his throat in front of his wife and your kids. He's actually going to fight back. And you lost. He was the better fighter at UFC 300. Accept it and move on. So I think the fans are starting to finally see through this act, this unhinged behavior, this delusional behavior. And God forbid he loses his next fight. Because I don't know how he's even going to survive anymore. Because the salt is going to be unbelievable. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.